John the Baptist was an austere man. He seems to have had very little intercourse with the people except in his public capacity as a prophet. His message seems to have been that of reproof and rebuke in a high degree. His diet was locusts and wild honey, and he seems to have practiced a high degree of austerity in all his habits of living. He did not visit Jerusalem as a public teacher, but continued in the wildest parts of Judea, to which places the people flocked to listen to his instruction. His habits of life, his style of preaching, his abstaining in a great measure from intercourse with the people, led his enemies to say that he had a bad spirit, and that so far he was from being a good man, he was possessed with the devil. After the scribes and Pharisees had declined receiving his doctrine under the pretense that he had a devil, Jesus Christ began his public, and in his habits of life and intercourse with the people differed widely from John the Baptist. Instead of confining himself to the wilderness of Judea, he visited most of the principal places and especially spent considerable time at Jerusalem as a public teacher. He was affable in his deportment, mingled with great ease and holy civility with almost all classes of persons, for the purpose of instructing them in the great doctrines of salvation. He did not hesitate to comply with the invitations of the Pharisees and great men of the nation to dine with them, and on all occasions was forward in administering such reproof and instruction as was suited to the circumstances and characters of those with whom he associated. But when the Pharisees listened to his doctrines, they were filled with indignation and seized hold of all the easy and gentlemanly manner in which he accommodated himself to all classes of people, that he might give them instruction, and objected to him that he was a gluttonous man, a wine-bibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. They objected to John that he was morose and sour, that he had a denunciatory spirit, and was therefore possessed with the devil. And to Christ they objected that he was on the opposite extreme, that he was too affable and familiar with all classes of people, that he was not only a gluttonous man and a wine-bibber, but that he was the friend of publicans and sinners. In speaking from these words, I designed to illustrate the following proposition: that God cannot please sinners. Some people are apt to imagine that it is a misrepresentation of God's character that creates so much opposition to him in this world. Sometimes